define for your products. And from the results from this test, you have to make decision. That can be yes, no, and the problem is that many times it's maybe. Okay, so okay, at which step do you have to test stability? In the development stage, the stability testing can be done on new prototypes or new raw materials if you change of raw materials as instance. In order to fix first stability specification on the different parameters, this will be done in this first stage of development in order to fix the first stability specification on the different parameters that will be tested and that will appear on the certificate of analyze of the products. Then other stability tests should be carried out on scale-up batches and on the final formula in order to confirm the shelf life of the products. Okay. In my lab, as instance, we perform at least before to give the shelf life of the product, we perform a stability test on at least 3 batch of production. Okay. The stability test can be carried out on pilot batches when the manufacturing process of the final product is considered equivalent. So this can allow you to save some time in the development of your formulation. Okay, the batch preparation of what is the size of the batch that you need to prepare to test stability. This will depend on the condition, the test that you will perform, and the schedule time that you plan to test. The container size, this will also depend of the test that you want to perform, but a recommendation is to prepare aliquot for each testing time and not to try to prepare one samples for many stability time. To avoid instability due to the manipulation of the sample, as instance, evaporation, microbial contamination. So it's better to have one sample for each time. Example of sampling, you can see it in this table. In this test, we test 3 conditions: 25 degree, 40 degree, 8 degree, or it can be 4 degree too. Normally, the most of the samples are used at 25 degree, as it's the condition that will give you the shelf life of your products. 40 degree, you need less sample, as you will test only 40 degree as an accelerated condition. 8 degree will be your reference condition to compare your stability results. Okay, so it will depend on the condition tested on the raw materials availability. Okay, sometimes you have some limitation in the raw materials availability to prepare large batches. The packaging used in your stability test can be glass if you want to compare one product with the other one in the best condition. So you will use the glass that have less dependence with the products, or the final packaging. In the case of testing the shelf life of the products, you need to test your products in the final packaging. Okay. The schedule, this will depend a little bit on your experience with the products. So normally, most of the products are reformulation of existing products. So you have already some clue about stability of your product. So you can limitate a little bit the number of schedule time if you want, if you have a security in the stability, or you can increase this number if you have no clue on the stability, if it's a very innovative products, very new. Okay, accelerate stability. Why we want to measure the stability in accelerated conditions? Because the shelf life of most of the cosmetic products is very large. Okay, it's for creams, shampoo, conditioner, it can be 2 to 3 years. Only for the products that are destined to the eyes contours have a lower shelf life of 6 months, up to 12 months. Okay, So for product developments and improvements, you need to obtain faster data to have an idea of the stability of your product, because you cannot wait 2 or 3 years to launch your products. So the first accelerated test that you can perform is centrifugation. That is a very common test. So basically what you are going to do is, basically you will, if you use this equation of the Stokes law, basically you will affect the acceleration of the gravity. So centrifugation will accelerate the gravity of the Earth. Okay, so you can use a normal centrifuge that allow you to centrifuge at a velocity between 1,000 and 5,000 RPM. And if you want to go further in centrifugation and accelerate further the Earth gravity, you can use an ultra centrifuge. Okay, and in this case, you can accelerate the Earth gravity up to 50,000 times. Another accelerated test that is commonly used is the increase in the storage temperature, as it will accelerate the process of instability and allow some prediction of the stability of the products. A general approach is that an increase of 10 degrees in temperature double the reaction rate. Okay, so normally we take this assumption is that 8 weeks at 40 degrees could correspond to 1 year at room temperature. You have to be very careful, because this method is only valid if the viscosity of a formulation follow the Arrhenius equation that predicts an exponential decrease in viscosity with temperatures. So if you plot the graph of the logarithm of the viscosity versus the inverse of the temperature, you should observe a straight line. And the problem is that most of the time you will not observe a straight line. Why? Because to formulate your emulsions products, normally you have to use a surfactants, and surfactants are very good to absorb at the interface in between the oil and the water, but they also form some kind of aggregates in solution. Okay, so normally surfactants in solution form some liquid crystalline phase, and also some other phase such as microemulsions. And this phase are very dependent of the temperature. So that's why most of the time you will not follow an Arrhenius equation. Okay? Experience shows that the greater the degree of acceleration that is tested attempt to achieve, the further remove the condition of the test from the actual market condition, the greater is the risk of occurrence of changes that will never occur at market condition. Okay, so that is the case of microemulsion formation or products that are formulated with ethoxylated surfactant that are very sensitive with the temperature. Okay, so this the two tests that I showed you before are the common tests that normal cosmetic lab is using, because every lab has a centrifuge and